Match review of Manchester United versus Liverpool, and what a game it was. But does this result paper over the cracks? That common terminology that we use? Yes, it does. This game still papers over the huge cracks in this Manchester United team, especially out of possession. So I'm sorry to be a bit negative, but the truth is the truth, and I am not going to stray from it. So Manchester United's lineup was Onana in goal, Dalot, Lindelof, Varane, Wan-Bissaka, Mainoo slightly deeper, McTominay, Bruno, Højlund, Rashford, Garnacho. That's how they lined up. That's the board, by the way. Liverpool, Gomez, Quansah, Van Dijk, Robertson, Endo, McAllister, Szoboszlai, Núñez, Diaz, Salah. And obviously during the game, Núñez would be right here, Salah was slightly inside, Diaz was slightly wider, Szoboszlai would help out more in this right half space, Endo, McAllister would slightly sit deeper, Gomez would occasionally invert, Robertson would stay wide. And first 15-20 minutes, fair play to Manchester United, what a performance. Just because Salah wasn't tracking back, therefore they really had joy on this side. With Wan-Bissaka, Bruno, Rashford, McTominay making runs like this, and they really had quick intricate combination play, along with Mainoo's incredible ball retention. How good was he yesterday? Oh my goodness. And in the first 5 minutes, he had the ball here, he weaved his way in and out, switched it to Rashford, continued his run. He was just dictating the game for Manchester United. An excellent player, and I just cannot believe why he is not in England's squad. That's a story for another day. Manchester United's joy came down this side because of Salah's defensive negligence. Szoboszlai was stretched, so they did have some joy. And because of United's out-of-possession flaws, they could not sustain this amount of pressure for the entirety of the game. It's a fundamental footballing fact. If you cannot be set out of possession, your domination over the game will be fluctuating. They got their goal, first 20 minutes, good amount of pressure, they had more chances. And then when they faded away, it was because Gomez, Quansah, Van Dijk, Robertson, when they were passing the ball, Højlund, Garnacho, Rashford, Bruno, McTominay, Mainoo, they would all press. It's not a bad idea, but where's the defence? Guys, can we also squeeze up? There was a moment where Quansah had the ball and McTominay literally pointed to Szoboszlai. Varane was there. McTominay literally said, look, he's going to get the ball. And literally Quansah outside of the foot, right into there. Szoboszlai turned, happy days. FA Cup quarter-final, Manchester United away from home. Liverpool centre midfielder getting this much space. I mean, it's so basic. If Manchester United want to press, they need to press together. If they don't want to press, then they need to stay compact in that mid-block, and then you have triggers of when you're going to press aggressively. It's so simple. So, ideally, in an ideal world, we would have Mainoo, McTominay, Bruno staying very compact, Rashford, Garnacho, Rashford any way round, and then Højlund there. And then we would literally say, pass the ball, keep passing it, and as soon as the ball goes wide, then we just block them off on this side of the pitch, but we squeeze together. And what Manchester United did was they would press vertically, they would just literally run like this, everyone's running, no one's even sitting here, and that's why Casemiro has been struggling this season. And this was Mainoo yesterday, struggling out of possession. He was doing so much of the work, which is why he had to sub himself off in the 65th or 70th minute, because he was working so hard. He was torn, he didn't know what to do, because Gomez would invert, McAllister would come slightly higher, Endo would be there, Diaz might come inside, and because Man United was still pressing high, look at this overload. It just literally requires one line-breaking pass, acres of space, and that's it. And that's why Liverpool should be shooting themselves in the foot, because they should have taken so many of the chances that they had. Acres of space, running into space. They should have scored so many more goals. And if I'm negative, I'm negative. I'm just saying how it was. And if that hurts some United fans, I don't mind it. I don't mind it because I'm just stating what I saw yesterday. Defensively, there are so many flaws in this team. We either stay compact and then we wait, or if we want to press high, the defence needs to squeeze up. It's so basic. Because not pressing high means there's a gap here and we either squeeze up, which means that Núñez, Salah, Diaz would be offside, so they would have to come in, and then we've really, made the pitch compact. We've reduced the depth, which is very important. Out of possession, you need to reduce the depth. United right now, they have depth out of possession. When actually in possession, you should have depth. You should open up the space. Out of possession, reduce the space. At the moment, Varane, Lindelof, Wan-Bissaka, Dalot, Diaz, Nunes, Salah are like, okay, I'm very happy. There we go. Szoboszlai operating in a pocket, it just takes one pass and then there's problems. Anyway, that is the out of possession rant over. Now we are going to look at Manchester United's in possession structure, and it was okay. It wasn't the greatest, but it was okay. And by okay, I mean it's still not good enough for Manchester United's levels, for their standards. Because that goal they conceded at the stroke of half time, they went backwards. So Liverpool were like this. They were sort of pegged back a bit. And they had the ball in acres of space. And then Bruno played it to McTominay or Mainu. They played it backwards. And Liverpool love that. They want to press as soon as you go backwards. They ended up going all the way to Onana. Onana went to Lindelof or Varane. Wan-Bissaka had the ball here in the corner. They literally pressed like this. Wan-Bissaka was stuck. He sort of tried to turn and do something. Bruno came to support. He got tackled, and then literally they scored from there. And that's just because Manchester United went backwards. There's no patterns of play at this club at the moment. There isn't any clear, coherent patterns of play. Centre-back, left centre-back, right back, left back inverts to create an overload. There isn't any of that. It's just like play freely, see what happens. Okay, I'll see what happens, and literally we'll corner Wan-Bissaka by our own fault. He'll get stuck in a corner, and then we'll get punished for it. And that's what happened. And that's very, very frustrating to see. And even Endo's goal that got disallowed, it came from the same problem. Playing wide to the fullback, like here for example, and then Liverpool press aggressively, and then it goes like this, and they lose the aerial battle, or he's stuck in a corner, and then he loses the ball, and then Liverpool just have a free shot on goal. Big, big issue right there as well. But in settled play, Onana would have the ball there, Lindelof would come wider, Varane would be there, Wan-Bissaka would stay high. Dalot did a good job of keeping the ball in the middle because he's very good on the ball. He would invert with Mainu. Their job was to give the ball to Bruno and McTominay, with Rashford and Garnacho staying wide. Rashford was making a few of these runs, but McTominay in the pocket was not able to find Rashford in that area. So perhaps that's Mason Mount's role when he's fully back from injury. Yes, he played like 10 minutes, but I don't think he touched the ball really. So when Mason Mount is fully back, perhaps he could be playing this role. So Dalot was good in terms of a few times he would get the ball, showing a bit of press resistance, give it to Mainu, and then Mainu would also have his press resistance ability, his ball retention, find a line breaking pass to McTominay, and then McTominay sometimes drove with the ball and tried to make things happen. So I think this area of the pitch could have had someone better, but McTominay had a very good overall game. 1 goal, 1 assist, and the final goal that Diallo scored, he was the person who headed it onto Garnacho for that counter-attack. So good overall performance from McTominay. But in this particular role, you need to have more proficiency in tight technical areas. And personally, Onana did have a good game overall. He did not lose the ball. He played some good, brave passes. He kept the ball. He kicked it long where necessary. And I just feel like they need patterns of play. Sometimes they would give it to Bruno into a pocket, but Bruno's under extreme pressure and then they'd lose the ball there because there's no support. There's no underneath runs. As it goes into Bruno, Mainu needs to be very close to him for the little set, and then we give it to Wan-Bissaka. Wan-Bissaka drives, Rashford's wide, and then we can play combinations like that. There isn't any clear patterns of play, which is why they end up going backwards all the way to the corner. Wan-Bissaka's there, loses the ball, and then Liverpool scored. So, yeah, it's a difficult one. I'm really struggling to see any sign of progress tactically from Manchester United. But that doesn't mean I'm not happy with their mentality and their character. Excellent mentality, excellent character, resilience, hard work, because that game was tough. 120 minutes of pure graft. And because of the way Manchester United pressed with no organisation, of course they had to run more. They were stretched. So if they become more organised and more compact, they will end up running less. It's just so basic and so straightforward, and that's what really, really baffles me. That's what really gets on my nerves when I'm seeing Szoboszlai just take the ball on the half turn in acres of space. Anyway, I'm just going back into my out of possession rant. Forget that. Let's go into the second half. In the second half, Liverpool did enjoy the ball more. They should have scored more. I can guarantee you they were going back on the bus to Liverpool thinking we should have scored so many more goals, and they absolutely should have with the amount of space and time they got in the central part of the pitch. And in the second half, Antony injected some pace, some dynamism, some directness, rewarded with a goal, by the way. Well done to Antony. Eriksen's deep-lying playmaking role helped Manchester United out just a bit, not a lot, but they did get out of Liverpool's press a few times. I just feel like they need a deep-lying playmaker that has legs, that can run from left to right constantly. Because right now, Manchester United are being disorganised like this, and then this person is suffering because of it. When actually, if the defence helped them out like this, literally, then clearly the midfield have less space to play in. The opposition midfield have less space to play in. It's physics, literally, less distances. Anyway, I'm going back to the outer position run. I need to stop. Okay, now, in extra time, very interesting, a lot of people were saying Bruno was playing centre-back. I still don't think he was playing centre-back. He was playing very deep as a midfielder. Yes, he would drop it to the back line to collect the ball and then play it. But because Liverpool was so pegged back, and I think Liverpool got very tight towards the end, Bruno could just drop in and get the ball and play. So I don't think he was the centre-back in that team. Because in extra time, Man United went into a back three, and then Erik and Bruno were here, McTominay was there, and then it was Antony playing this role here, like this, with Garnacho, Rashford and Diallo. Højlund got subbed off as well. So Antony was doing a bit of both. Antony, credit to him, had good energy, good directness. He tried to make things happen. And I hope this is a sign of more things to come from Antony. So in extra time, you had Dalot overlapping and underlapping, getting involved. So Eriksen would drop in there just to keep the ball, just to distribute the ball. But because Liverpool were slightly disjointed and both teams were just getting tired, it's hard to really judge the structure and the formations. Because yes, Bruno ended up here. Eriksen was there, Maguire ended up striking a few times. So I wouldn't say, oh, Bruno played centre-back. He didn't. He just dropped in a situational moment of play just to get the ball and play, dropping deep just to dictate the game, and that's it. So he would sometimes look for that direct ball. And yeah, Manchester United's persistence, hard work, tenacity to keep going. Eriksen's introduction just to keep the ball helped them a bit. But I just think they need more patterns of play. They need a bit more identity. What are they? Are they a high-pressing team? Are they a counter-attacking team? Are they a mid-block and then press aggressively team? What are they? Because at the moment I'm struggling to really establish an identity for Man United. In possession, sometimes they switch it, they do a lot of transfers, sometimes they go long, sometimes they play short, sometimes they play it from the back. And I think that lack of play style leads to confusion on the pitch, whereby once again, when Bissaka ends up with the ball here in the corner, when there was no pressure in the first phase of play, and then they give the goal away. I just feel like if they have more rigidity at the back, when I keep talking about rest defence, that's what I mean. I literally mean Maguire, Varane, Lindelof, Lissandro, whoever it is, they just stay behind the ball, they dictate the play, and then if Dalot wants to invert, which is fine, because he's good on the ball, that's fine. Wan-Bissaka, Dalot's there, Wan-Bissaka's there, that's Mainu, and then you have Maguire, Varane, or whoever it is playing. And if they have that set structure constantly, I think that will help Man United develop more of a play style. But at the moment, it's like there's no real clear build-up strategy, there's no clear passing patterns, and it's just a constant up and down cycle during a game. There's constant fluctuations, there's a lack of control, lack of dominance, and you can't be an elite level club playing like this. You can't, because you would get exposed. Like the game ended 4-3. Against Everton they conceded 23 shots at home. Against Newport County there were big problems as well. So yes, I'm very happy that Manchester United got the win, because it's a true testament to their character and their mental strength. But tactically they've got to assess this, they've got to sort this out, otherwise it's literally papering over the cracks. And for Liverpool, Szoboszlai had a good game, he had some good shots on goal. Salah could have had a more adventurous game, I would say. Núñez as well. Núñez tried hard, but I think with the amount of space they had in the final third, they should have scored more goals. Liverpool's final pass wasn't there. Endo did dictate the play where he could. Robertson was up and down, but once again, that final third quality for Liverpool wasn't there. If it was, yeah, Man United would have lost by 2 or 3 goals at the minimum, because there were times where Harvey Elliott, when he came on, he was just driving, and I'm like, wow. Imagine being at Old Trafford, being able to drive in that much space. It's an absolute joy, especially if you're an attacking midfielder. But apart from that, I hope you guys enjoyed this match review. It's my first time doing this style of match review, a long format on YouTube. So please let me know your thoughts on this and whether I should do this more often. So hope you enjoyed this video. Stay peaceful, stay blessed as always. Stay tuned on my page for more content coming out. Stay peaceful, stay blessed. It's the Honest Football Coach, Coach Rafaz. Peace.